The challenge, BGECNS. The arena floated in the void above a shattered star, its walls glowing with alien symbols and energy beams. Thousands of eyes watched from all directions, creatures of every shape and size staring down at the small human. Standing on the high platform, Jox tightened his gloves and took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. He was alone, no weapons except his sharp mind and his courage. The alien champion stepped forward, its body taller than a small ship, its claws glinting with energy, and it growled, "You shave, and I'll kill you," the creature hissed, making the arena tremble with its voice. Jox's heart raced, but he did not move, studying the floor and the walls, looking for a way out. The platform beneath his feet was slick and narrow. Energy grids ran along the edges, and one wrong step would mean instant death. The alien champion circled him slowly, testing his nerves, showing no mercy. Other creatures in the stands shouted, hissed, and laughed, their voices echoing across the arena. Jox saw small panels hidden beneath the floor, tiny lights blinking, like secrets waiting to be discovered. He crouched slightly, pretending to stumble, watching the champion lean forward. Then, with a quick glance, he memorized the movement of the energy beams, the timing of the lasers, and the weak spots in the walls. The human's mind worked faster than the alien could imagine, every second counting, every breath a gamble. Suddenly, a trap opened near the platform's edge, spikes shooting up like jagged teeth. The crowd gasped, some cheering, some screaming. Jox jumped back just in time, his boots scraping the metal, sparks flying. He realized the arena was alive, almost as if it wanted to test him, to see if he deserved to survive. The alien champion roared and leapt forward, its claws slicing the air. Jox rolled to the side, narrowly escaping. Feeling the wind of the attack brush past his face, he grinned slightly, knowing brute force would not save him, only wit and timing. Looking up, Jox saw a network of wires above, humming with alien energy. He imagined a plan forming, a risky move that could either kill him or turn the fight in his favor. Every alien in the arena leaned forward, sensing something unusual. Even the champion hesitated, not expecting the human to think beyond simple survival. Jox reached for a small tool hidden in his belt, the only device he had brought. With careful movements, he nudged the control panel beneath the floor, wires sparking as the circuits connected. A faint glow appeared, hidden energy responding to his touch. The alien champion hissed again, sensing the change, its 6 eyes narrowing. The human crouched low, pretending to be cornered, while secretly preparing his next move. The arena seemed to shift around him, lasers flickering, traps realigning. Jox's mind raced, calculating every option, every escape route. He had survived challenges before, but nothing like this. Nothing against creatures who could crush him in a second. Yet he remained calm, every muscle ready, every sense alert. The challenge had begun, and the human had just taken his first step into the arena of death. The crowd roared, some in shock, some in excitement. As the battle was about to truly start, Jox smiled faintly, knowing he was underestimated, knowing that the unthinkable could happen, and somewhere in the shadows of the arena, a secret waited, a chance that only a human could see. The champion lunged again, and the real fight for survival had begun. The first Ioncio to Jox landed softly on the shifting metal floor, keeping his eyes on the alien champion that circled above him. The air smelled of ozone and burning metal, and the hum of the arena's energy made his heart beat faster. Suddenly, a shadow moved from the side, larger than anything Jox had faced before. A 6-eyed insectoid alien stepped into the light, its legs clicking on the metal, its mandibles snapping like knives. It stared at Jox, sizing him up, and hissed. "Your kind is weak," it said, its voice sharp and metallic, making the arena echo. Jox crouched, watching carefully, every instinct telling him to move. He had no weapon strong enough to fight this creature head-on. All he had was his mind, and that might be enough. The insectoid lunged suddenly, faster than a flash of light, its claws reaching for Jox. He rolled to the side, feeling the wind from its strike brush past him. Sparks flew as the claws struck the floor, leaving scorched metal behind. The crowd gasped, their voices mixing into a strange roar of excitement. Jox noticed a faint glow on the alien's exoskeleton, small and almost invisible. It pulsed with each movement, and he realized it might be a weak point. He baited the alien, stepping back slowly. Pretending to be trapped, the insectoid lunged, again, overconfident, hissing, as it aimed for him. Jox leaped onto a nearby metal beam, using its height to dodge another attack. He pulled a loose wire from the wall and tossed it onto the floor, creating a spark and a small explosion. The alien stumbled, confused by the sudden light and fire. Jox used the moment to strike, kicking a panel that flipped the alien onto its back. The creature roared in anger, spinning to recover. But Jox was already planning his next move. He noticed the wires above, humming with energy, and a small control panel glowing on the wall. If he could reach it, he might control part of the arena. Turn traps against his opponent. It was risky. But Jox had always thrived on risk, and his mind worked faster than any alien muscle. The insectoid got up, more cautious now, circling Jox. Its 6 glowing eyes followed him, watching for any sudden movement. Jox inched closer to the wall, pretending to be trapped. Then, with a quick jump, he grabbed the control panel, wires sparking beneath his hands. The alien hissed, realizing the human was no ordinary opponent. Jox twisted a small lever, and suddenly, a trap on the floor activated. Spikes shot up just in time, cutting off the alien's retreat. The insectoid froze, struggling, and Jox used the moment to leap onto its back, pressing hard against its glowing weak spot. The alien screamed, thrashing violently. But Jox held on, using his weight and balance. He twisted and turned, forcing it into the trap's edge, careful not to fall himself. Finally, the creature collapsed, stunned but alive. The crowd erupted, a mix of shock and excitement. Jox climbed off carefully, breathing heavily, knowing this was only the first, real test. The alien champion watched silently. Now more aware of the human's cleverness, Jox smiled faintly, wiping sweat from his brow. Ready for whatever came next. The arena was alive. The danger was far from over, and the first encounter had just begun. The unthinkable Morva Jox stood in the center of the arena, watching the alien champion approach. Its body was larger and stronger than the insectoid he had just fought. The air was thick with tension, and every step the champion took made the ground tremble. The crowd leaned forward, expecting the human to fail. Jox's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. Scanning the arena for anything he could use, he noticed energy beams crisscrossing above, traps hidden along the floor, and gaps in the walls. His mind raced, calculating a plan that no one would expect. The champion lunged, its claws slicing through the air. Jox rolled to the side, barely avoiding the strike, sparks flying around him. He could feel the power behind each hit, stronger than anything. A human should survive. The crowd gasped as he dodged again, teasing them with his speed and cleverness. Jox knew he could not win with strength alone. He had to do the unthinkable, a move that could either kill him or shock the entire arena. He crouched low, letting the champion believe he was cornered. The alien hissed, its glowing eyes narrowing, overconfident, ready to strike. Then, without warning, Jox leapt toward the edge of the platform and pulled himself down into a pit trap. The crowd screamed, certain the human was finished. The fall should have ended him, spikes and energy grids waiting below. But Jox twisted mid-air, landing safely on a small ledge hidden in the shadows. He had turned the deadly trap into his advantage, using it to approach the champion from behind. The alien spun around, surprised, its roar echoing through the arena. Jox pressed forward, dodging a sudden swing of the claws. He noticed the champion's weak spot on its back, glowing faintly. With careful timing, he used a piece of fallen metal to strike the weak point. The champion shrieked, spinning wildly, trying to shake him off. Jox held on, using every ounce of strength and balance he had. The crowd was on its feet, unable to believe what they were witnessing, a human defying death. Using cleverness instead of brute force, the champion staggered, its attacks slowing as Jox continued to push. He moved along the edges of the pit, forcing the alien closer to another trap. Every move was calculated, every breath measured. The champion tried to predict Jox's next step, but the human's mind was faster. Finally, with a daring twist and a shove, Jox sent the champion crashing into the trap's edge. Sparks and energy surged as the creature struggled to rise, stunned and defeated for the moment. Jox climbed to safety, breathing heavily, heart racing. He had done the unthinkable, surviving a fall that should have killed him, and proving humans were not weak. The arena fell silent for a moment, shocked by the human's courage and cleverness. The alien spectators whispered, uncertain now about their judgment of humanity. Yok smiled faintly, knowing the challenge was far from over. He had survived the first deadly encounter, and the unthinkable move had shown the arena and himself what humans were capable of. The next opponent would be even stronger, and the real test of survival was just beginning. The secret HFY Jox moved cautiously through the twisting corridors of the arena. Every step echoed on the metal floors. Every shadow seemed to watch him. The alien champion lay stunned behind him, but the danger was far from over. He knew the arena had more traps, more creatures, and more surprises waiting. As he rounded a corner, he noticed a faint movement in the shadows. A figure crouched low, breathing quietly, watching him just as he watched the arena. At first, Jox tensed, unsure if it was another alien ready to strike, but then the figure stepped into the light, revealing a human, smaller than Jox but alert and fast. The other human raised a hand slowly, a silent signal of peace. Who are you?" Jox asked, his voice low. The human nodded. "Name's Rena. I've survived this far too, but I can't do it alone." Jox studied her carefully, suspicious, knowing that trust in this arena could be fatal. Yet, something in her eyes told him she was genuine, desperate like him. Together, they could have a chance. A small advantage against creatures far stronger. The two humans moved quietly, avoiding patrols of smaller alien fighters. Rena pointed to a series of hidden passages, showing routes that bypassed traps. Jox nodded, impressed, realizing her knowledge of the arena could save their lives. They exchanged plans in whispers, creating a small strategy, combining brains and speed. The arena itself seemed to pulse around them, alive and watching. Even the walls seemed to shift, as if testing their unity. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed down the corridor, shaking the ground. A massive alien commander appeared, its armor glowing with energy. It had sensed their presence and was moving fast, cutting off their escape. Jox grabbed Rena's arm, pulling her into a narrow passage. They sprinted together, dodging falling debris and energy beams. The commander's footsteps thundered behind them, relentless, unstoppable. Rena pulled a lever on the wall, activating a trap that swung metal bars into the commander's path. The alien was forced to jump back, giving them precious seconds. They ran through twisting corridors, sweat on, their faces, hearts pounding. For the first time, Jox felt a small sense of relief. Having an ally made him stronger. Rena smiled faintly, realizing they could cover each other's weaknesses. But the arena was not done testing them. Traps and creatures waiting. At every turn, the duo knew they had to work together or die alone. The secret ally had changed the game, adding hope and danger in equal measure. As they paused for a moment, catching their breath, the alien commander regained its focus. The humans stared at each other, silent but understanding. The next move would decide if they lived or perished. The arena roared around them, watching, testing, daring the humans to fail. But Jox and Rena had discovered something important. They were not alone, and together they could defy the odds. The next stage of the challenge would be the deadliest yet, and the unthinkable was still waiting, hidden in the darkness, ready to strike. The final tear up as Jox and Rena stepped into the final section of the arena. Feeling the air change around them, the floor beneath their feet glowed with shifting lines of energy, moving like living veins. Above them, massive alien towers watched silently, filled with unseen spectators. This place felt different, heavier, as if the arena itself wanted them dead. Rena slowed her steps, scanning the ground carefully. "Every step here matters," she whispered, her voice tight with fear. Jox nodded, noticing thin laser lines stretching across the path ahead. One wrong move would trigger instant death, no second chances. He studied the pattern, counting the seconds between each pulse, his mind focused, blocking out the noise of the crowd and the pain in his body. They moved together, step by step, perfectly timed. A sudden blast of energy erupted behind them, forcing them forward. The arena was pushing them, refusing to let them retreat. Ahead, a massive gate began to rise, revealing the final combat zone. From the shadows, the alien commander emerged again, angrier and more dangerous than before. Its armor burned with red energy, and its voice echoed like thunder. "You should not have survived," the commander growled. The crowd roared, in agreement, eager to see human blood. Jox felt the fear rise in his chest, but forced it down. He whispered a plan to Rena. pointing toward the control towers above. She listened closely, her eyes wide, understanding the risk. "If this fails," she said quietly, "we die." Jox nodded. "If we don't try, we die anyway." The commander charged, shaking the ground with every step. Jox ran straight toward it, drawing its attention. Rena broke off to the side, climbing a narrow structure under heavy fire. Energy blasts exploded around her, metal melting inches from her hands. Jox dodged claw strikes. Using fallen debris as cover, he led the commander directly into the heart of the trap zone. Rena reached the control panel, hands shaking as she pulled open the damaged console. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, and the arena reacted instantly. Gravity shifted suddenly, pulling everything toward the center. The commander stumbled, roaring in rage. Jox barely held his footing, gripping a metal rail with all his strength. Lasers activated across the floor, cutting through the space like blades. The trap was complete. Chaos everywhere. The crowd screamed, no longer cheering but shocked by the danger. The commander tried to escape, but the gravity field dragged it back. Jox saw his chance and moved. Pushing through pain and fear, he reached the final switch and slammed it down with all his force. The arena erupted in light and sound. The commander was thrown into the center pit. Crashing hard, the trap worked, but the cost was high. Rena lost her grip as the structure collapsed beneath her. Jox turned just in time to see her falling. Reaching out, their eyes met for a brief moment. Rena smiled sadly, knowing what was coming. "Finish it," she shouted, as she disappeared into the light below. Jox screamed her name, but it was too late. The arena fell silent, stunned by the sacrifice. Jox stood alone now, shaking, broken, but alive. The final trap had been triggered, the commander defeated. But at a terrible cost. The crowd watched, in silence as the human remained standing, and deep inside the arena, something shifted. The final challenge was waiting, and Jox would face it alone. The human pulled down, and TRIUMPHS, Jox, stood alone in the center of the ruined arena, the echoes of battle still ringing in his ears. The place smelled of smoke and melted metal, and the crowd watched in uneasy silence. Rena was gone, her sacrifice burning deep in his chest like fire. Pain filled his body, but anger filled his heart even more. The ground began to shake again, stronger than before. From the deepest pit of the arena, the final alien champion began to rise. It was larger than any creature Jox had faced, covered in dark armor, marked with ancient symbols. Its eyes glowed like dying stars, full of hatred and pride. The crowd erupted, believing this was the moment the human would finally die. The champion spoke, its voice slow and cruel. "You were pulled down," it said, "and now you will be erased." Jox clenched his fists, staring up at the monster. He felt fear, but he did not let it control him. Humans had always survived by standing up after being crushed. This moment was no different. The champion attacked without warning, smashing the ground where Jox stood. Jox was thrown through the air, slamming hard into a broken wall. Pain exploded through his body, but he forced himself to move. The alien struck again, faster than before. Jox rolled, barely escaping, his vision blurring. The crowd laughed. Sure, the fight was over. The champion grabbed Jox and lifted him high. "You are nothing," it growled, tightening its grip. Jox struggled, breath fading, memories flashing in his mind. Earth, humans, survival, and Rena's final smile. Something inside Jox changed. He stopped fighting with fear and started fighting with purpose. Using his last strength, he activated the small device hidden in his glove. A pulse of energy shot through the arena floor. The champion roared in surprise. Loosening its grip, Jox dropped to the ground and ran, ignoring the pain. He climbed the shattered remains of the control tower, knowing this was his only chance. The champion followed, tearing through debris, unstoppable and furious. The arena itself began to overload, lights flickering, systems failing. Jox reached the highest platform and turned to face the alien. "You think being strong makes you powerful," Jox said calmly, "but humans survive because we adapt." He slammed his hand onto the final control core. The arena reacted instantly. Gravity reversed, pulling everything upward. The champion lost its footing, roaring in rage. Jox held on as the world turned upside down. Energy beams focused on the champion, locking it in place. With one final surge, the arena expelled the alien into the void beyond. Silence followed, deep and heavy. The crowd did not cheer. They could not. They had just witnessed something impossible. Jox collapsed to his knees, exhausted and broken. But he was alive. The arena systems powered down, recognizing a victor, a single human. Standing against the galaxy, the alien spectators slowly stood, not in fear, but in respect. Whispers spread through the crowd. Humans were not weak. Humans were dangerous. As rescue ships approached, Jox looked up at the stars. Rena's sacrifice had not been wasted. The arena had pulled the human down, but humanity had risen, and across the galaxy, a new truth began to spread. Never underestimate a human.